Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
It was junior year of high school, and it was the last day of school. A lot of people cut school this day or left early after lunch period. My friends and I were some of the latter. It was a stormy, dark day. A bunch of people from our grade originally planned.
Did you ever cut school when you were younger? Let me know in the comments below. For me, I never really cut school. I guess I was more of the good kid type and just did my best in school overall. But yeah, let me know if you ever cut school in the comments below.
Planned to hit the beach on the last day of school, but that was obviously canceled. So my smaller core group of friends decided to do something else. There used to be an abandoned elementary school in town that hadn't been used for like 10 years. There were plans to tear it down by the year's end. So, still wanting to do something fun on the last day of school, we all agreed to break into the building and just fuck around exploring. There were no cameras in that old building, and on a stormy day, no one would be outside monitoring the place or anything.
Isn't it typical of kids to break into old abandoned buildings and just screw around? I don't really know what the allure of that is. Maybe you can tell me. I don't understand what the allure of breaking into stuff is and just messing around and exploring old abandoned buildings, because that kind of thing has no interest, in my opinion. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
So we all left after lunch period. Our friend Eddie already had a car and his license, so he drove us all to the abandoned school. The school was in the middle of a neighborhood, not on any main roads or anything. There was a back parking lot covered by overgrown bushes and trees on one side, and the walls of the school on two other sides. It was a perfect spot to park and go unnoticed. The place wasn't boarded up or anything, it was just locked up. Eddie had a baseball bat in his trunk that he took out to smash one of the windows of the school. I was honestly so nervous that even through the pouring rain, one of the houses over the fence would hear the smashing sound. We all watched and nervously laughed as Eddie swung the bat into the window in front of the car, and after a few good swings, smashing it. He pushed away the stray pieces of glass stuck to the frame with the bat, and then he waved us over. We one by one climbed through the window into the school. My logic was that the school was being torn down anyway. What does a broken window matter? We all were inside the building now. The window we climbed through was actually one of the windows for a classroom. A lot of stuff was still left in the room, including the desks and some decorations on the walls. Based on the decorations, it looked like we were in a 4th or 5th grade classroom. It was very surreal to be inside of what was once an active classroom.
This would be pretty spooky, wouldn't it? Just to go exploring in an abandoned building. And I guess that could maybe be the allure of it. You know, it would be pretty creepy, and I feel like this would be the exact ideal location to see a spirit of some kind, don't you think?
Where little kids would come to learn. Now nothing but a cold, dark, and abandoned room collecting dust waiting to be destroyed. The sounds of thunder and lightning outside also added to the surreal feeling of it all. There were no lights on in the building. Power to the place was likely cut completely. We anticipated this though. The flashlights on our phones were plenty to get around and see. Even without them, it wasn't completely pitch black in there, as even though it was a dark day, some light was still creeping in through the windows and doors. We started traversing the hallways, going from room to room. Each classroom was still full of desks and chairs that hadn't been sat in probably a decade. We all four were in the same classroom when there was a sound that echoed down the hallway and into the classroom. We all went silent and turned off our lights for a moment. After a flash of lightning, we slowly accepted that it was probably nothing, so we continued on. We just went from room to room as our wet shoes all squeaked on the floors. Sneaking around wasn't possible, really. A lot of things in the school were visibly decaying. You could really tell no one had stepped foot in there in ages. As we neared the corner of the hall, I turned around just to look back down the other way. and at the doorway of one of the classrooms, it looked like there was something sticking out from the classroom. I asked my friends to also look. Their lights would maybe help see what it was. When all four of us were pointing our phone flashlights toward the door, whatever that thing we were seeing was retracted into the classroom. All four of us quietly went, "Oh shit," amongst ourselves, and we...
Yeah, that would be pretty scary, wouldn't it? Just to see something lurking out of one of the classrooms of an old abandoned school like that. Dang. What would you do in this situation? Would you take off running, or would you maybe be stupid enough to explore it a little further?
Started running down the intersecting hallway. We stopped when we were far enough away. It seemed we were in the kindergarten wing now. Then we heard another sound echo from down the hallway. It seemed we weren't alone. But who could be in here was the question. The place was locked up and every light in the building was off. The sound scared us into going into the first classroom we could find and shutting the door. It was indeed a kindergarten classroom. We were now concerned we'd get in trouble, so we waited in silence with our flashlights off. The rain was still coming down hard, and there was still thunder and lightning crashing every 20 seconds or so. Suddenly, the door to the classroom clicked open, and someone pushed it as it eerily creaked to a fully open position. We didn't see anyone at the doorway, though, and the hallway was almost pitch black. We all tried our best to stay quiet. Then, slowly, something appeared through the doorway. It was the shape of a head. We all saw it, and when there was another flash of lightning, we saw what it was. It was in fact someone's head, looking into the classroom directly at us. I started apologizing for all of us, saying we're leaving. The person at the doorway didn't move. They motionlessly and almost lifelessly just peered around the doorway in the classroom. Eddie asked, "Do you work here?" No response. Eddie...
Dang, how scary would this be? You know, just having a head peering in the doorway like that. I mean, it almost makes me think back to my theory about a spirit or a ghost of some kind, the way it's being described right now. I mean, what do you think? I think it could definitely be a spirit or a ghost, and I definitely believe in that kind of thing. I feel like there are way too many encounters of that kind of thing to not be real. But maybe it is a person. It's really kind of hard to say. But the way it's being described right now, like lifelessly moving and stuff like that, it does kind of make me think of a ghost or a spirit.
He had this moment clearly. He handed me the bat as he struggled to unlock one of the windows to slide it open just enough to crawl through. He crawled out first, then my other two friends, and I was last. Before I crawled out, I looked back one more time at the head at the doorway. I crawled through as quickly as I could, fearing I'd hear the person run up behind me and grab my legs. Once I was out, I ran to catch up with my friends who were already booking it back to Eddie's car. We drove out of there in a hurry and never looked back. The building was torn down later that year and has since been turned into a park. We never got in trouble for breaking in. To this day, we have no idea if that was some kind of worker or just some random person. Either way, it was extremely creepy behavior on their part.
So the fact that he did grab the kid's legs at the end there makes me think that maybe more or so it is an actual person, but I do think that spirits can move things and grab things too. So who's to say? Maybe it was a spirit in the end, but I don't know. I kind of like to have an open mind about stuff, so I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. What do you think? Is this in any way a spirit or a ghost? Let me know what you think. But most likely it probably is a person, but I think it's kind of a cool thing to think about that maybe it was a spirit or a ghost. But yeah, I thought this was a cool story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and my music, and I will see you in the next video.